Okay, you need a bit of help here. So, I've trying to work with this servo. So what I found out was that this button down here is your dual rate. But what you don't do is, like on other radios, is turn the wheel one way, adjust your dual rate, turn it the other way. This goes from 0 to 100%. So it's going to give you your steering angle for both sides up to 100%. Why there's 0, no clue. So that was the problem before. It was on 0. Now I'm having a problem. I've taken the horn off. I've unhooked everything. I've turned the system on, and you can hear the servo adjusting itself, so I know it's centered. I've looked at videos from WPL themselves, and the way they have everything set up, and I'm setting it up the same way, but I'm getting this weird vibration and some weird torque thing. So if you look, here's the steering horn, and it's weird when you set it up, but on the WPL site, they have it on a bit of an angle like this, right? Because I think the way this thing works, it doesn't go all the way. It goes more to the right than it does to the left. But anyways, I turn it on. Okay, so there we are. So I can go right, I can go left, right, left. And right now I've got it on 75%, because any more than that causes a lot of torque twist. But in any event, I still don't know what's going on here. So I've taken this link and I've put it on this side. I've made it longer and shorter and adjusted the horn. So what I'm going to show you now is, you saw how the servo worked fine. I'm going to put this on here real quick. Oh, yeah, real quick. I wasn't on camera. It would take me 2 seconds with no problem, but all right. So, and I'm following what WPL has on their site as well. They've got the one link on the bottom and then this steering link on top. From this side, I will put it into the bottom of the horn, because, you know, with the percentage you can work with. I know in a lot of some who don't have a, geez, my thing came off. They don't have a dual rate. You can adjust your dual rate by adjusting the horn. So here I am. Got the link on. Looks good. Now, it does that when I steer to the left. When I steer to the right, it does that. Left. That's all I have. If I crank it right up to 100, I get right. Left doesn't do anything. I'm going to, you see, and that is me setting the steering trim. So right now, the steering trim has a 0 and then a 1, 2, 3 going down each way. The steering on this is currently straight, but I've got it all the way to the left on 3, which means it should be going totally one way. I try to put it up to 0, and it does that. So here's what's going to happen. If anybody has an idea, I'd appreciate it. If you don't, well, not long, this thing is going to end up in the garbage, and I'm going to stop screwing around mechanically with stuff. I might put, I don't know, some links on something, but I'm not doing any of this new ESC crap, because obviously I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I have had this thing, different links, different ways, like I said, right side, left side. I've moved the horn to different angles. Again, taken it off, reset, so it's at center, and it's either, so this way it turned right and it vibrated left. The last time I had it, it turned right and it turned left, but it torqued it honestly, totally up. It was totally like that when I was trying to turn left. So I have no clue what's going on. I've tried to Google it on the internet, and I don't know. I can't find anything. Maybe I'm not good at Googling, but like I said, by the end of today, this thing might be in the garbage. And if you want it, I'll give you my address. You can come get it, because that's where I am. This thing has got to be one of the dumbest controllers, Endura T6. If you read the directions on this thing, I have no clue. They tell you about setting up the ranges and everything of your steering knob as well as your throttle. I've never had to set up a range on that, and it makes no sense to me what they're saying. I'm not stupid, but I followed the instructions. All right, and you gotta hold the trigger or the thing fully back, sorry, and then the trigger fully back. Then when it's off, turn it on, hold it for 6 seconds, the blue light goes, and then you push channel 3 to enter setting mode. And then it gives you all these, so the range setting of channel 1 and 2, and I've tried that. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. The range of the forward and backward rotation of the direction wheel indicates the setting of the range of the servo. The range of the forward and backward of the throttle trigger indicates the forward and backward range. After the range sets well, the trigger and the steering wheel return to the middle position. They always return to the middle position. I've never had a transmitter that didn't return to the middle position. It did that before I even turned this thing on and put batteries in it. Then it says, if it is not necessary to set the channel 3 and 4 ranges, which it's not, press the channel 3 button to confirm the setting after the steering wheel and trigger are still at the midpoint for 3 seconds. I did. After the setting is successful, the indicator light will stay on and enter the normal mode. There's default factory settings, so I haven't done anything. And then it talks about range adjustment, and that's where I found out about these knobs and what they actually do, these things down here, because they're not labeled on the transmitter. But anyways, like I said, this thing has sat on my bench for months because I was waiting for certain parts to come in, and then I was actually dreading doing it because I knew, I'll do something and it always goes great until there's something small, which to me that is small, and it screws everything up, because this thing runs fine. It's got the motor back and forth, that trigger's fine. Steering, I don't know what it is. No clue how to fix this. And there was a few people, because when it wasn't, what I didn't know in the previous video was that this thing was set at 0. So I'm trying to turn and nothing's happening. Why the hell they would have a 0 setting for steering if you wanted to do a race test and say, okay, I want this thing to go straight. These things are light enough. It's gonna bounce, it's gonna hit a rock. It's not gonna stay straight. You still need to steer it. Why they have 0, I have no clue. Yeah, 0 endpoint for my steering. That's smart. And there you can see where I mentioned in another video where I had to carve out part of this back piece to get the gearbox to fit in, and then I also cut out part of the seat in the front, and this is why my seat isn't sitting properly, in order for the motor to sit in and it to kind of come down below it. Yeah, so here's where I am. This is the worst investment I think I've made. And sorry, some people were talking about the wiring. So the wiring, the brown, the red, and the yellow, maybe the wiring was mixed up and that's why I wasn't steering. So before I figured out this the 0 steering range, because I don't use the steering wheel in my FMS FJ40 because like the driver I have in there, I detached his arms, but it won't move. So I unhooked that servo. So I actually physically took that servo out yesterday and plugged it in here to see if it would work. Same thing. I plugged it in forward and reverse. No, sorry, it would you could hear it click on. Sorry, not forward and reverse. And I tried to steer, no steering. So I'm thinking, okay, so there's nothing wrong with the wiring because I had to, because this servo wire only came to here. I took a servo wire off another old servo I had. It's got electrical tape, but under there I've got shrink wrap and I attached them and everything. I just put this to kind of protect it from the heat of the motor. And it's working fine. It was working fine. Before I had the link set up, I'd turn it and you'd hear it go zzz, zzz. Be like, great, everything's working. Perfect. I'm going to love this thing. Now I'm going to throw it over. I'm going to go in the backyard and whip it over my fence. That's where I'm at with it. So going forward, I'm going to put new tires on some stuff. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to put a driver in. I'm going to buy some stupid gas tank to put in the back. And that's all I'm doing. Maybe some shocks. I'm not touching anything else. There's people who have put stuff into the FJ40, new motors, new servos. Screw it. Obviously, that's I've got more skill at doing the crafty, artsy crafty part of RC than I do doing this kind of stuff. So if anybody has a suggestion about what might be causing what I'm going through here and this thing kind of jamming up, that's great. Other than that, this and this are toast, I think. I don't know. I'm so frustrated with it that I don't know what to do anymore. I'm tired of looking at videos. I'm tired of taking that stupid steering horn off and adjusting the steering link to make it. You see, even look, you can hear, but it's working, right? Goes back and forth. It's getting stuck though somewhere. So I don't know. Like, you hear that? There, you can see it almost torquing up when I go across. You can see it trying to pull up. So, I don't know. Good axles. Once you know how to build, once you know how to build these axles from WPL, when you first do one, again, you're going to want to launch it across the room. But once you get the hang of tweaking them and what's going on, they're great axles. I got some updated drive shafts. So I'm going to probably pull the motor, the drive shafts, the axles off this, chuck it, stick this stuff in a box somewhere and forget I ever own this thing. And, or like I said, if somebody wants to drive to Ontario, you're more than welcome to come and pick it up. There's not much time because my neighbor's about to see an RC fly across the fence into his yard. Thanks, guys. Any input would be great. And sorry about the downer video, but this is one moment where this hobby is pissing me off.